Welcome to becoming a member of Interstate Passport, Communicating with Students, the Role of Advising and Marketing. My name is Summer DeBryan, and I'm the Articulation Specialist at the University of Hawaii, West Oahu. Joining me today is...
My name is Nathaniel Powell. I'm the Director of Advising at the University of Arkansas Community College at Batesville.
And I'm Layla Y. Shimokawa, the Director of Communications, also at the University of Hawaii, West Oahu.
This is the fourth video in a series on becoming a member of the Interstate Passport Network. I encourage you to visit the website to view the other three series. In this video, we will be discussing communicating with students, the role of advising and marketing. Today's topics provide you with an overview of the Interstate Passport, the academic advising role, and the campus and marketing role, and FAQs. Interstate Passport is a national program that enables block transfer of lower division general education attainment based on student learning outcomes rather than on specific courses and credits. It was developed on 4 guiding principles: serving students, faculty-driven, allowing institutional autonomy, and built-in quality assurance. There are 63 Passport learning outcomes that cover 9 knowledge and skill areas. The Passport focuses on knowledge of concept, cross-cutting skills, and foundational skills. The Passport learning outcomes were developed by teams of faculty from both the 2-year and the 4-year institutions from 7 different states. The Passport learning outcomes align with the AAC&U LEAP Essential Learning Outcomes. This shows a side-by-side comparison of courses in a block at a large and a small institution. As you can see, it varies in course selection to achieve the learning outcomes. You can view the network institution Passport blocks on their respective websites. The number of credits will vary from each institution. Students on a semester system will have 30 to 38 credits, and those on a quarter system will have 45 to 60 credits. Passport courses may be identical to the institution's general education requirements or may vary. However, students must earn a C or higher to be awarded the Passport. Another guiding principle is quality assurance. There are several ways this can be built into the Interstate Passport. Once a student earns a Passport, it is noted on the transcript in the form of a comment. The registrar notifies students of Passport awards by celebrating the student's important milestone with an email or letter, a certificate of accomplishment, or via the degree system. The Passport is awarded automatically. It is an early recognition of the student's accomplishment. If a student has to take a pause on their education pathway, the Passport may add value in the workforce as it demonstrates the students have learned meaningful foundational skills. Early data on the Interstate Passport shows positive results. For the 2018-2019 academic year, students who transferred with a Passport had a higher GPA than those who did not transfer with a Passport. In addition, those who transferred with a Passport enrolled in more credits each semester. Students are tracked for at least 2 terms post-transfer. Academic tracking is broken down by gender, race, veteran status, Pell, first generation, and more. This data can be used to identify strategies at your campus to increase student success. For a full overview, please visit the Interstate Passport Annual Report by visiting the Interstate Passport website. The Interstate Passport benefits the institution by providing a tool that simplifies the transfer process by eliminating the direct course-by-course articulation or ongoing management of numerous articulation agreements. It can be used as a recruitment tool and can facilitate increased retention for graduation. It marks early milestone of completion of foundational credentials and allows for curriculum flexibility at any time. Institutions receive academic tracking data post-transfer for continuous improvement processes.
So at this point, we want to focus really how the Interstate Passport benefits students particularly with the advising focus of what we do. As many institutions have transitioned into the Guided Pathways networks and things like that, if you can give a student a milestone of achievement early on, then you're essentially giving them the empowerment of doing a much better job later on. And one of the things that is the benefit to students is that this is a box, essentially, that is a general education transferable box. And the good news is that in many institutions, including my own, we have these persistence milestone markers. And along with our Guided Pathways initiatives at UACCB, we know that there's marginal students who just they won't make it unless they have been given that encouragement along the way. But nobody wants to take things that they don't need, and nobody wants to transfer and then have to retake something that they feel like they've already done. And that's going to save them, obviously, not just the time, but thousands of dollars. And it gives advisors kind of an empowering tool to be able to specifically examine not every institution's general education requirements, but rather a general idea of what general education includes. And so as they are going to move throughout, the passport is going to be a credential as much as it's going to be that milestone. And the numbers speak for themselves. So if nearly 40,000 people in 3 years have already earned a passport, you can imagine how many students out there actually would have theoretically earned a passport based off of that block that we have talked about, based off of the numbers that we have mentioned, specifically the higher GPA. This is something that has really been able to take off with only, so many states participating. So one of the things that is integral to the interstate passport, obviously, is how to talk about it. And the thing is that we have to focus as academic advisors specifically on, as we know, how to negotiate and also translate campus policies to the different people on campus. So whether if you have a professional advising model, if you have to talk to faculty members, if you are faculty members who are advisors, that translational tool that you can go to your registrar, you can go to financial aid, you can go to the various different constituencies and talk about how it works. Most importantly, though, you want to talk to the students on how a passport is going to benefit them. And quite frankly, that could be just even if they stay within their state or don't know if they're going to ever leave their state in which you reside in. It's just a matter of speaking for a kind of a better global transfer network. And if you're specifically on the four-year side, this is a good way to talk to students about that have come in with a passport, but also on the two-year side, or on if you're in an initial advising role for the student's first year or first 2 years, then you can talk about what the actual transfer is going to look like. So on the one hand, it's a good marketing tool for you to use as a 2-year level to get students to transfer, but it's a wonderful marketing tool on the 4-year for how students that have benefited from the passport now don't have to worry about certain things, such as, some of those hanging on classes that have been, historically argued about whether or not that needs to be a part of the curriculum and necessary for certain degrees. And most importantly, that we serve that frontline role where we have to provide the feedback to our campus leaders and eventually hope that we have the ability to provide feedback within our state representatives on how the advising experience has helped with the passport. There's many ways that you can express what we've been talking about. Of course, as an academic advisor myself, talking to other academic advisors, I'm going to obviously say in multiple different advising sessions, expressing the benefits of a passport is going to be fundamental. However, we know that there's key takeaway moments that we have, such as an orientation. There's that the market site where you can definitely, the storefront, as we would call it, on the website and in the catalog, some of those static places that you can always lead people. As we progress into the future, specifically on your campus, but also in general, if you go back to what we have available through the Interstate Passport website, their videos and their social media, one of the things we really want to highlight on the different campuses is this is an organic way to have a transfer conversation. And as we have things, like weeks and different events where we highlight transfer, this is something you can definitely incorporate both into videos and in your social media. So one of the things that we do on most campuses is we are responsible for degree audits, and the fact that it's not the easiest thing to have a conversation with a student that is waffling and that is just taking classes or has taken classes, entering and taking classes that are not necessary for anything moving forward. As I say, there's no Associate of Arts and General Education factories going to be open in my area of the country anytime soon. And so this is kind of a good opportunity to help people just move along, and as well as, kind of utilize your own check sheets. For us, we have program maps that we use. And so you can build this in as if it were its own credential. And in many cases and in many states that it can be used that way. So as you probably know, many students will come in with some transfer credit. They'll come in with some other things that, don't necessarily count toward transfer. This is one of those opportunities that's very unique where you have a multitude of institutions that can come together and can congratulate students. And that's obvious with what you can do with your students as you advise them. One of the things, obviously, is you can lay out the map of what it would look like to get the passport. But when you can tell somebody, no matter what, you've completed something, you know that that builds the confidence. And when you can welcome someone and say, you know what, you completed something, that builds their confidence. And so as you go from one institution to another, now it gets to the point of, all right, general education fundamentally is important, but you are meant to do something larger than that. So now, instead of trying to trickle in or sprinkle in classes that you may have forgotten that you could have taken in the first year or two, now you're going to be able to just straight move on into whatever your major requirements are. And if you think of it that way, you can focus on the first, couple of semesters with more career planning and things like that, so you can empower students to understand about what majors look like as they move forward. So on the 2-year level, or the first 2 years, then you can think of broadening their perspective, and in the remaining time, you can ensure that they don't have to worry that something was forgotten. So easily, you can access the advising resources. The Interstate Passport Advisor webpage is a definite go-to. And let me just be honest, I mean, it's not just something that you could use for Interstate Passport. I mean, it's going to have good information just for general academic advising. And if you want to learn more, obviously, the toolkit is going to definitely drill down a lot more into what the passport itself can provide. And then, of course, we all have questions, so feel free to visit the FAQ, and we're going to go into that in a little bit. So I am easily the least attractive person on this page, I can say. I'm the first one up there. But I have a lot to say about it. UACCB has been the first, and that's, you can see what our name is, like I say, UACCB. We were the early adopter, and it's been something that just goes straight into the fabric of our guided pathways. It's something that has been very easy to implement. It's one of the things that obviously helps us to have conversations with faculty is we do changes on some of our credentials and degrees and things like that. And you know what? That's a fluid thing. And I think as we look at transfer, as we understand institutions individually make changes all the time. So this is one of those wonderful opportunities for us to just take a moment to move back a little bit and say that this is our opportunity, that we don't have to worry about keeping up with what everybody else is doing from the individual perspective.
Thanks so much, Nate. And you can see how much collaboration or crossover there is between the role of an academic advisor and marketing. And as a marketer of the passport, we can help our institution, and most especially students, learn about their options. There is an Interstate Passport Network Marketing Committee, which consists of members from each participating state, and we do meet quarterly. And the membership has helped to come up with the content, providing perspectives from both 2-year and 4-year institutions to provide a comprehensive overview for all audiences. On the Interstate Passport Network site, you will have a featured campus profile, and your campus profile will show the passport blocks and a lot of other relevant information that students can go so they can view what is special about your program and how to contact whoever on your campus is a relevant individual. On your own network profile, you can present your campus unique attributes, special programs, your institution description. So this is a way for you to highlight some of the things that you want to share, to give a brief overview of what special programs are on your campus and what the students can find that they might not be able to see on your website as a very brief overview. Interstate Passport has provided a member profile tips guide. I will be sharing that link later. And so that provides information that you can incorporate on your campus site. So there are 2 different sites, the one on the Interstate Passport and then the one on your own campus individual site. And we do provide copy for you to populate your website, and we encourage you to follow some of the best practices that the marketing committee has come up with. And again, there's different perspectives. There's the 2-year and a 4-year, so that allows you to kind of tailor your messaging to your specific audience. And some of the things that are featured on this profile on your campus site is, what the passport is and how it works at your institution. It also would give you contact information on your campus so that students have easy access to their advisors or whoever on your campus is designated as the passport point person. We come up with some, as a marketer, we do like to sell our Passport on our campuses. And here you can see Passport member Cerritos College. They created some content to display on their social media page.
If you're attending Cerritos College and you're racking up the general education credits, that's great. But what if you want to transfer to a 4-year college? Do you have to repeat those courses? No, because Cerritos College has the Interstate Passport Program. The Interstate Passport Program lets you transfer a block of general ed credits to a growing network of participating universities nationwide, saving you time and money. Cerritos College gets it. For more information, visit cerritos.edu/interstate-passport.
And again, that's just one of the many examples that our campus marketers came up with to promote Interstate Passport. Interstate Passport is working to scale its membership nationally, and here's a good example to showcase where you can both earn the passport and transfer to member institution. And this is a list that is growing, and we're excited about that. So we do have, along with academic advisors, we do have our own section of resources for our campus marketers. Here's our marketing webpage and our campus marketing toolkit that I had referenced earlier. And all of these resources will give you some copy and content for your website, for your course catalog, just really good fleshed out descriptions of how the passport works and with the target audience of a student as its goal. Campus marketers do take pride in helping students learn about the benefits of the program and how it simplifies transfer. There's some of us who have been a part of this program. As Nate was saying, UH West Oahu has been a part of it as a pilot program. And so we've been able to see how Interstate Passport has grown, and we've been able to award hundreds of Interstate passports to students on our campus. And we're really proud to be able to share that news with our students and encourage them to learn more about the program.
And at this moment, I'm sure that there are a lot of questions. Obviously, there are staff members working with the Interstate Passport who you can reach out to for more specific questions. But we want to go ahead and give some further analysis into some of the FAQs. All right. First, you're probably wondering, are the course requirements for Passport the same as our general education requirements? Well, this is one of those moments, as we had mentioned before, where your full team between those who work within the registrar's office, those who work with the marketing and advising, can inform your faculty on what might work best. But ultimately, this is built so the faculty decides what are the courses and learning opportunities that are strategically put into those SLOs are the learning outcomes. And yes, it's possible that your general education requirements may be more or less than what is decided upon a Passport. But the bottom line is that everything is hinged upon what is generally transferable. We agree that it's a C or better. And so that's what helps you to get the Passport. Bottom line is your faculty builds it, but other people can inform on it. Another question you may have, are there other prerequisites in the Passport? So here's the thing. And many of you that may advise or have some expertise in certain fields like engineering or things that have some lower level, what would be higher level seeming courses, this is general to the general education requirements. So here's the thing. If you're going to go into a specific type of architecture, if you're going to go into a very specific major, this doesn't necessarily say that every prerequisite into a major requirement course is going to be met. This is more for the general education side of it. As we know, sometimes, even if it's a boutique measure or anecdotal, our state legislatures can mandate course requirements for graduation. This isn't something that's going to keep up with that. This is more or less a type of agreement with from institution to institution, not state by state. And of course, we have institutions out there and many that might participate that have their own specific courses that are required for graduation, specifically, a faith-based institution or another private institution that has mandated its own curriculum. So what happens if students transfer before completing a Passport? Well, the thing is that although we would not necessarily advise, at least at the 2-year level, students to transfer before for a number of reasons, namely for probably scholarship reasons or other specific reasons. We understand that sometimes it comes down to the fact that people, they just need to move. And the good news about the Passport is that you can still take what you have earned from one place and add that into an addition to the Passport of another receiving institution. And at that point, your registrar or whomever is in charge of your articulation will go course by course to determine how far along a student is in the passport. And this is my favorite slide because I have helped to do a lot of integral work at my institution on guided pathways. And whether or not this was by design or by happy accident, guided pathways and passport align magnificently. And the whole idea behind both is going back to the simplification that there's no reason for students to do more work than they're needed to do to earn the milestone and to also learn what is the guiding principles leading them into the upper divisions of whatever they decide to pursue after their general education requirements are fulfilled. So you can look at all the different areas, what we would call our buckets, but the meta majors, whatever you want to call them, and you can see that there are several courses that are going to be transactional that everybody's going to have to take, and everybody's going to get the takeaway that they've completed them. They won't have to redo them. They won't have to do another institution's version of them.
Will the number of courses and credits in our passport vary from other institutions? Yes. The number of courses and credits will vary from each institution. The faculty at each institution decides how a student achieves the learning outcomes and creates their own passport blocks with courses and learning opportunities they offer. If a student transfers in with more credits, the receiving institution will decide how the credits will apply. If a student transfers in with less credits in their passport, the general education requirements are met, and the institution will decide whether the student needs to take additional courses in their major or electives to fulfill their graduation requirements. Does a passport guarantee acceptance at another network member institution? No, the earning a passport does not guarantee acceptance at another network member institution. However, it does mean that the student's general education requirements are met upon transfer.
You might be wondering if Interstate Passport encourages transfer. Well, we know that students transfer for a variety of reasons. For two-year schools, it is their mission. And for four-year schools, students have different needs. And so we know that no matter where they start or finish, network schools care about their student success and want to help to create a seamless pathway for general education requirements. Over the next few years, thousands of students are expected to transfer, stop out, or drop out. Many of these students will be crossing state lines and they need our help and they need it now. We really appreciate your interest in Interstate Passport and invite you to join us in streamlining transfer for students. On behalf of Summer and Nate, we want to thank you for watching this webinar. To find more information, go to the website or email interstatepassport@witchy.edu.